So I truly believe we are on the brink of transforming asthma or lung care from reactive to predictive. And AI will make it possible to make it in a way so that the disease can be identify the patients at risk of exacerbation days or even weeks before. If you can predict the risk factor of any disease exacerbation or diagnosis or prognosis, that will be huge. And the next step is how we can personalize it based on real world behavior. And that is the future in coming 5 to 10 years, where we can have access to everything. AI is the only option that is going to make it possible from reactive to predictive.
Welcome to Beyond the Wheeze, the podcast where perseverance meets potential. I'm Josh Realm, public speaker, marathon runner, asthma advocate, and your host as we explore the intersection of health, fitness, and resilience. Whether you're managing asthma, chasing a new personal best, or simply looking for inspiration, Beyond the Wheeze is here to show you that no challenge is too great to overcome. Together, we'll uncover stories, insights, and strategies to help you push beyond your limits. It's time to breathe deeply, move forward, and unlock your true potential, one step at a time. Today, I have the distinct privilege of welcoming Dr. Meraj Khan to the show. Dr. Khan worked as a clinical research scientist at the Hospital for Sick Kids in Toronto and is co-founder and CEO of DigiBiomics, a Canadian health tech company transforming healthcare through AI-driven diagnostics, precision medicine, and clinical workflow automation. DigiBiomics is pioneering solutions like LungSense, an AI-powered platform for early detection of lung diseases, a technology with exciting potential applications for asthma care. Dr. Khan's work sits at the intersection of biotechnology, artificial intelligence, and healthcare innovation, with a focus on improving patient outcomes and advancing digital health literacy. Today, we'll talk about his career journey, the mission behind DigiBiomics, how AI is changing the game for respiratory health, and what the future holds for asthma care. With all that being said, Dr. Khan, welcome to Beyond the Wheeze. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
A little bit of context for our listeners, we did meet rather recently, May 5th. We had presentations together at the Lung Summit in Toronto at Mars Discovery District. And I was fortunate to have the opportunity to hear you present and loved what you talked about. And I wanted to bring the conversation on to here. Dr. Khan, your career has uniquely blended clinical research, AI innovation, and entrepreneurship. Can you share what first drew you to the healthcare space and how your work at Sick Kids shaped your perspective on the challenges we face in respiratory medicine?
My journey into healthcare wasn't a straight line. It was born out of curiosity, compassion, and dream to serve community. Earlier, I thought of becoming joining army, military, because when I was a kid, I thought, those are the folks, they serve the community. Then I realized something else, and eventually I landed up in this healthcare domain. So this is because of my curiosity, compassion, and dream to serve community. During my PhD and postdoctoral years, I was deeply involved in studying the molecular mechanism behind chronic illness, including lung diseases. But it was my time at Sick Kids that truly changed the game for me. I wasn't just analyzing data, interpreting results, writing manuscript. Rather, I was witnessing firsthand how each data point could represent a child struggling to breathe, a family searching for hope. And I saw the gaps between research, data, and real-time clinical action, especially in respiratory care. It made me ask, how can we bring insights from the lab to the bedside, faster, precise, and efficient? And that's the questions became mission for my entrepreneur journey.
What inspired you to launch DigiBiomics, and what gaps in the healthcare landscape were you aiming to address with this company?
As I said, DigiBiomics was born out of that mission to bridge the divide between data and care. We saw a huge gap between valuable clinical data was either underutilized or too slow to impact decision making. Respiratory health, especially conditions like asthma, suffers from delays in diagnosis and lack of personalized care. We launched DigiBiomics to change that, to make AI and automation part of everyday clinical decision making. It's not about replacing the clinician, it's about empowering them and empowering them both clinician and patients with better tools, earlier insights, and scalable solutions. In most of the disease situations, including asthma and other lung problem, we are dependent on expert like clinician or radiologist or other healthcare expert. We don't have any empowerment. Let's say lung problems are the most common problem. Getting flu, viral. Every healthy individual gets sick 2 to 3 times in a year, or even 4 times. But we don't know about things. So there's no any lung wellness tracker for us, for every individual, so that we can track and see. Like we have so many trackers for beyond my wellness, but for wellness, especially for lung, there's no lung tracker, no any record of how my lung is doing, how I was doing last month, last year, and now how I'm doing currently, how I can take a precaution or the lifestyle change or management so that I can be better in terms of my lung wellness. So this is a huge need to empower patient or individuals so that they can take care of their wellness too.
I think it's great. And I think it's easy for patients or even their caregivers to become complacent with their own illness and think that everything is okay. If you can see what that looks like from a data-driven standpoint, I think we can only really move forward with that. And with AI really taking over the space, every space lately, I think it's just a matter of time before products like this, your flagship LungSense, really take off and become a part of everyday asthma care and management.
Agree. Thank you.
So my third question, how did this idea come to life and what makes it stand out compared to conventional tools?
LungSense came from listening not just to the lungs through data, but the voices of clinicians and patients alike. A pediatric pulmonologist once told me, and he is my mentor, Dr. Hartmut Grassman, and he quote, "If I could only see what the data knows before I see the symptoms," that struck me. So LungSense uses deep learning to detect patterns in lung data, imaging, symptoms, biomarkers, and long before conventional tools flag a problem. It's early, non-invasive, and scalable. That's what sets it apart. We are not just reacting to disease, rather we are getting ahead of it.
So I'd like to move on now to AI data and the evolution of asthma care. AI and machine learning are becoming buzzwords in healthcare, as I mentioned before. But for people living with asthma, what practical real-world impact do you think AI will have in the next 5 or in the next 10 years?
Yeah, absolutely. So I truly believe we are on the brink of transforming asthma or lung care from reactive to predictive. So this is important. We are moving from reactive to predictive aspect, and AI will make it possible. AI is the only option that is going to make it possible from reactive to predictive. To make it in a way so that the disease can be identify the patients at risk of exacerbation days or even weeks before. If you can predict the risk factor of any disease exacerbation or diagnosis or prognosis, that will be huge. And the next step is how we can personalize it based on real world behavior, so I'm going to reiterate it. So if we can predict the risk factor much before, personalize based on the real world behavior. So definitely this will reduce ER visits tremendously. And here the use of AI and large scale data analytics computational power is amazing. Imagine a small ecosystem. Let's say we are building an ecosystem, and that a smart ecosystem where patients variable, their environment and symptoms talks each other. So if you have the multimodal data coming from wearable device, environment, clinical symptoms, imaging, and more lab data, if they talk each other and then they talk to doctor, that's the point we are looking for. And that's the future in coming 5 to 10 years, where we can have access to everything. We can talk to the data of all multimodalities. We can talk to the doctor and patient and provide personalized treatment and personalized healthcare.
DigiBiomics offers services like clinical data as a service and AI model as a service, or MAAS. Can you explain how these services support personalized care for patients with asthma and other chronic respiratory diseases?
I'll go for this in 2 stages, the one before and then the next one, for the services. So in the first goal is we are building or innovating a tool that supports patient, as I mentioned, the LungSense. Along with that, how we build a tool, we build a amazing, very helpful solution, but there's no digital adoption. Then there's no point of building this tool because no one is using it. So under the umbrella of our DigiBiomics services are offering, we are trying to support our community, whether it's clinicians or end users, for their digital adoption. And that's why we started providing service and offering so that any end user can leverage this technology and adopt this technology. Because in healthcare, change management is difficult. So because of that, we started providing services. And at DigiBiomics, our goal is to make precision medicine practical and accessible. With our clinical data as a service, it's DAS, we help healthcare organizations harmonize and standardize data across multiple sites. This creates a unified, high-quality view of patient cohort, a crucial foundation for personalized care. So if we can provide clinical data as a service from all modalities, that's a fundamental need for personalized care. We also provide real-world clinical data sets that can be used to build a powerful platform, tools, analytics, and pipelines to across the industry, whether they are working in non-lung or non-respiratory healthcare too, whether it's cancer, diabetes, mental health, and so on. The second service is model as a service. So that takes further. The first data as a service, now the model as a service. That is the next step. And it allows hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, and research centers to deploy pre-trained AI models and build broader AI ecosystem without having to start from the scratch. It also supports data governance and helps drive digital adoption among end users by offering seamless integration into their existing workflow. So these two services are key, where we are empowering every institutions, whether they're academic, non-academic, pharma, to build their own ecosystem, and that helps to adopt digital adoption for clinician, patient, and researcher.
So you're really turning the vision of precision medicine into a working reality.
Yeah.
How does LungSense's deep learning technology enhance asthma diagnosis and management, and what opportunities does it open for earlier, more accurate interventions?
LungSense does not just analyze data, it learns from it. It integrates multimodal data, including clinical real-time signals and historical trends to deliver a risk score and treatment suggestions. This empowers providers to act earlier and with greater confidence. What's powerful is how it evolves with the patient. As more data is collected, LungSense becomes more accurate, leading to smarter, more timely treatment decisions, and that opens the door to early interventions, fewer exacerbations, and much higher quality of life for those patients, along with the overall better patient outcomes.
So let's move on now, Dr. Khan, to collaborations, research, and global health impact. DigiBiomics emphasizes partnerships with hospitals, academic institutions, and tech firms from what I can find. Can you share some of the collaborative projects you're most excited about, particularly those connected to respiratory health?
Yeah, so it's actually my faith is to, and my understanding and my faith is you cannot do any innovation or any research without collaboration. You need a huge collaboration, and that's the key for success of any organization. And with that, in the past we had many collaborations, academics, non-academics. Now we are also progressing in making many collaborations, and one of the most fulfilling underway is with leading Canadian institutions like Secrets Hospitals and St. Joseph Respiratory Clinic, where we already in the process of integrating LungSense to their workflow, so that LungSense can be pilot and can be tested with retrospective and prospective studies. So these two collaborations are underway. We are also in the process of formulating collaborations with industry partners like Bayer to further expand our capabilities in respiratory health. And this is an existing step that bridges the clinical innovation with pharmaceutical impact. So we have collaborations in academics, hospitals, and pharma, so that we can can actually go from bedside to bedside to the market. And so all these together, all these efforts reflects our commitment to building meaningful partnership across both academia and industry. Partnerships that are essential to scaling, innovation, and driving real change in respiratory care. So this partnership, as I mentioned, from academics, research, hospitals, and industry, the goal behind is to scale innovation and drive the real change in this area of respiratory care.
You've presented your work on international stages like the Lung Summit, where we met, and conferences in the Middle East as well. How have these global experiences informed your approach to tackling respiratory diseases like asthma on a broader population health level?
I had privilege to attend many international and national conferences, even starting from my PhD and post-PhD research durations. And after even transitioning to entrepreneur side, I had privilege to attend conferences, as I mentioned, in Bits and Bio. There's a huge lung group in Philadelphia. Then I was an invited speaker in a conference in Saudi Arabia. It's called as AI in Healthcare. That was a big, amazing conferences. Along with that, I quite often I'm engaged in public speaking, whether it's webinar or even virtual conferences. And actually, they have broadened my even own understanding. My understanding of how local environment and systemic factors, like especially to the lung area, like air quality, healthcare access, and infrastructure, how they deeply influences respiratory health outcome. So when I go to different national and international conferences, I realize those factors in a real world scenario. And in some region, let's say the whether it's developed and non-developed countries, the factors are totally different. Though in some region there is a huge burden of asthma, but the resources are limited. There are some regions where there are seamless access of mobile connectivity and technology access, like in Saudi Arabia. They have huge money and they have huge access of technology. So if we can combine the experience of all together, that really broadened my understanding and moving towards developing a tool that will help to personalize the treatment in this disease space. And finally, what I learned through this global engagement is that AI in healthcare must be adaptable. This point I emphasized in my previous questions, that we are providing services for the digital adoption. I want to emphasize again that AI in healthcare must be adaptable, not just as an innovative tool. It has to work just as effectively in a well-resourced hospitals in North America as it does in a rural clinic, like in Middle East or India. There should be a balance that in low-income countries, AI should be also adopted. Presenting in these diverse settings has reinforced my belief that real innovation is inclusive. We have to be inclusive. A solution isn't truly transformative unless it's accessible and meaningful to everyone and everywhere. So this is my learning. We want to develop a tool that helps patient anytime, everywhere.
A solution isn't truly transformative unless it's accessible and meaningful to everyone everywhere. I love that. AI adoption in healthcare comes with its own set of challenges. From your perspective, what are the biggest barriers to bringing these innovations into everyday respiratory care, and how do we overcome them?
The biggest barriers are trust and integration. Clinician needs to trust that AI adds value without taking away their control. That's one. The other side, AI tools must integrate seamlessly with existing system, not creating more. So this is a combination, a mutual symbiotic relationship where clinician needs to trust on AI tools, and AI tools is not something which creates more work to clinician. So in our case, especially to DigiBiomics, we overcome this by involving clinicians from the beginning, making AI explainable. This is the key. Our tool, our AI, our technology is if explainable and any end user can understand, that's a huge win. And validating it rigorously. So I reiterate, we involve clinicians starting from the scratch. Our AI models or technology is explainable and it has been validated rigorously. These are the key things. So it's not just about the technology, it's about co-creating solutions with the people who will use them and with them.
Funny that you bring that up. It's not something you typically think of. I mean, you do in a sense where, people are worried with AI and robots, they're taking over jobs or what have you, things are going to change. But you don't really think about that in the term of the healthcare space. At least I don't think about it in the realm of the healthcare space.
This question actually most often people ask, sometimes clinicians, sometimes even the patient, and in most of the audience, they ask this question. So in reality, AI is not taking any jobs. Actually, it's providing an efficient way of doing things. And especially the task which is repetitive. Let's say I'm doing something which is really repetitive. So why I should spend time? Rather use that time for some innovative purpose or something constructive. Let's AI do this repetitive task. I will give an analogy. It's very old age analogy, but it will be really helpful. So let's say with the help of our scientists, we invented car, the train, and the aeroplane, right? And the purpose is to move or to commute, to help in commuting from place A to B, and all doing the purpose is same. And in the same way, we also walk. We have, but no one is saying that the invent of technology with this the aeroplane or the train or car, they are kind of taking our ability to walk, right? We still have that ability and we use it, and this is something needed. But that technology helped the globe to connect. Now every part of the world is very well connected. You can reach to any part of the world within least time. If it won't, then you need a life to travel. I remember in the back days, we used to listen a story that a family moved from east to west and they didn't come back because it takes the whole life. So now with the advancement of technology, we got so efficiency to travel, to reach to our loved one, to come back and participate in their festivals or the feast. The same thing is here. This AI is going to support you, provide efficiency, precision, and in accuracy. It's not going to take away anyone's job. So this is a technology, and we should embrace it and we should adopt it. It's not just fearing, AI is taking jobs of everyone. It's not. We should adopt it, use it in a better way so that we can efficiently bring more technology. AI is not the end. There are many technologies coming along. So rather worrying too much or giving a negative theory about AI, just focus on the what after AI that we're going to use it. So this is kind of quite long philosophical correlation and analogy, but this is something what I use to reflect when someone asks me this kind of questions or share their opinion about the AI.
I think it's inevitable to get those questions. I listened to a podcast by Gary Vaynerchuk, and he discusses AI the same way. He says, well, we thought the radio was the last thing we would get, but then we got the TV and then we got the smartphone. Things will always progress. There's always going to be something else. AI, as you said, it's really a tool to alleviate the work we've been doing so we could focus our attention elsewhere. So I'd like to talk a little bit more now about the future of AI in respiratory medicine. Looking ahead, what future advancements do you believe AI will unlock in the management of asthma, whether it's in diagnostics, treatment, personalization, or real-time patient monitoring?
I believe AI will unlock dynamic care models, like digital twins that simulate how a patient might respond to a treatment before it's even prescribed. That's the theme of what I keep saying. We see AI-powered devices that adjust medication dosing in real-time basis. So the adjustment of the doses in real-time basis, including the patient behavior, the reflex or the response of that treatment, environment and physiology. So these are the key things, and that's what we are expecting. So currently, what happens if a clinician prescribe any dose, he don't know what's going to be the response, whether we respond or not respond. The third case, it may have some side effects. That's the normal scenario. But in case of AI and with this technology, the medication will be monitored in real time based on the patient behavior, environment, and physiology, and based on that overall response, the medication dose and the types and combination can be adjusted, and that will be a real example of personalized care. And we are heading towards an era where asthma, not only asthma, even many more disease, care is not just managed. It's predicted, optimized, and deeply personalized. So these are the three things we are looking for: predict, optimized, and deeply personalized. So if you can predict before onset, then optimize the treatment, and then that treatment will be personalized. That will reduce the huge problem. And this will not only reduce or minimize the expense, time, and suffering, this will also give a better quality of life to those patients who are having chronic problem like asthma.
Which is by far the number one goal.
Yeah.
Now, I've had this conversation or a likewise conversation on episode 6 with my guests on that episode. And when it comes to AI in medicine, data privacy and regulatory hurdles really seem top of mind. How do you see the healthcare community balancing innovation with patient safety and ethical data use, especially in the context of sensitive respiratory health data?
Actually, it starts with ethics by design. I repeat, ethics by design. We embed privacy protections into every layer of development. Whatever development we are doing, each and every layer has a privacy. And that starts from anonymizing data to access control, compliance with regulation like HIPAA and GDPR, and those are essential. And these are essential, and these are the baseline. So we start with all these compliance and integrate in each layer of our development. That's the key. As I started, and we start ethics by design. Our model, our tool, they design based on the ethics. But ethics go beyond compliance sometimes. I mean, not sometimes, most of the times ethics go beyond compliance. It's about consent, control, and context. So we should have a consent, we should have a control, and we should know the context. Patients need to know their data benefits. Most often, patients don't know what kind of diagnosis they are going through. After diagnosis, where their data is. I don't know my X-ray or my ultrasound or my blood report who is using where that is, and when that is going to be removed or traced. So this is something is need to be taken care, and every patient need to know their data benefits from them, and they should be empowered to say no, so that if the whole ethics and privacy and compliance will be there, so whosoever is using our data for any purpose, patients should have right to say yes or no. And what I see, so if we follow this, integrating all the privacy and ethics in every layers of our deployment and development, and getting the consents and of the patient, if we follow all these rules, then definitely we can win the patients or the subject which are involved in our study, their trust. And that's the way, I think that's the only way innovation earns the trust. If we earn the trust, then definitely our adoption will be much faster and much easier. If you don't trust, if you don't build the trust, or if you don't own the trust from the end user, definitely the adoption will be very, very challenging.
So I'd like to move on now to personal reflections and advice for future innovators. Reflecting on your own career, Dr. Khan, what has been the most rewarding part of combining clinical science with AI innovation in the respiratory health space?
I mean, this is a very good question. So seeing ideas become impact, this is the most rewarding. My idea, now they're impacting. So watching a clinician use of one of our platform or technology or tool, them make a faster, more informed decision, or a parent when they see and they are finally feel in control of their children's, like having asthma, they are safe, they are happy. That's the everything. When I see my tool is helping with their clinician in their decision making or in diagnosing the problem and giving a right treatment to the patient, and seeing patients and their family happy and in a way that their confidence that their kids are in a better hand, that's everything which gives us confidence and kind of the rewarding feeling. And the other point, it's also been incredibly rewarding to mentor young professionals. So one is providing service, I mean, to the clinician and patients, they are happy and they are using our technology. The other responsibility and is we are in to also train our youngster, our community who are growing, and they are the one who going to take our innovation path. So this is another aspect which we focus and to mentor young professionals and see them applying these ideas in a ways I have not even imagined. I may not have a capacity or ability to complete, but looking them, they are working on it and they are reaching to the success. That's the thing which makes me really feel proud and rewarding. And I can say in one line, innovation is a ripple effect. It's not just what I did and it's a ripple effect, and I'm proud to be part of that wave. So, and it's not a one-man show. It's a combination. It's a collaborations, doing something and training something, and it's a journey. It will keep going on even after my death. If I'm not even, I won't be in this world, but this innovation will keep happening. So I would be proud that where I in that journey, I supported up to some limit, up to some time, up to some extent. So, and there's a saying in our beliefs: do something which will impact even after your departure from this world. So, if this LungSense will be successful, definitely this is keep helping clinician and patient even if I'm not in this world up to the end infinite. So this is really rewarding for me, what I'm doing and how I'm doing, and what could be their impact, everlasting impact. Not only the impact up to my life, rather everlasting impact.
And you're certainly making an impact on people like myself and the families that I've had the opportunity to speak with as well. Progress is inevitable. And most importantly, it's important. And at some point, the teacher needs to become the taught. For young professionals and students interested in the intersection of AI and healthcare, especially those passionate about respiratory medicine, what advice would you offer to help them carve out their own path in this emerging field?
I mean, the key thing is here is I always even focus my students, my staff. It starts with the problem, not the technology, right? And most often we misunderstood and we kind of abstracted the technology and start working on it. No, start with the problem, not the technology, and then you go to technology. Learn from the patients, shadow clinicians, and really understand the problem before you build a solution. So this is as a straightforward one-line journey in this especially area. I reiterate, learn from the patient, shadow clinicians, and then really understand the problem before you start building any solutions. So this is all about what I want to give an advice. And adding to this, master the tool, yes, but do not lose the sight of the people behind the data. Then, I mean, when you understand the problem, then definitely get master to the technology and tool, but never overlook the importance of the data which you have gathered and the people behind this. Let's say LungSense, which we are developing. I know we are developing, but no, we are nothing. The data, the people, the patient, from where we got the data, that's the huge support. Without that, we can't do anything. So these are the aspects which I want to highlight. In a nutshell, start with the problem, understand the real problem by involving with patients and shadow clinicians, and then work on mastering the technology. But don't forget the component of every data points that's shared by every patient. Along with that, stay curious, stay humble, and keep building the purpose. Humbleness is important. So if you're not humble, even you are doing a great work, this may not have that much impact and the feeling. So curiosity, humbleness, and keep progressing, keep adding something. So these are the punchline or the nutshell pointers which I want to convey to all the listeners through this media and through this medium, and this will be really helpful. And I tested this on myself too. So it's not just I'm saying based on reading some article or books. I'm sharing this based on my own experience. And I don't want you to spend your life getting this experience, rather utilize this and move on to the next step.
Before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners, perhaps new projects on the horizon, resources you'd recommend, or ways people can learn more about DigiBiomics and its mission?
Yeah, thank you for that. Actually, this is also giving me an opportunity to share what our next milestones are. So we are excited to expand LungSense into new regions and conditions like like COPD, pneumonia, and lung cancers, along with asthma, and definitely to new regions too, because our goal is not for a one community or one region. Our goal is global, how we can impact globally in terms of diagnosing, serving, and providing personalized treatment recommendations. So, so these are our two key milestones: to expand LungSense for more disease modalities and expand in geographical regions too. And I see there is a huge demand in low-income countries. We are fortunate we are in developed countries. There are facilities, but in the other countries, even they don't have diagnostic tools. They don't have facilities. So this will be a real revolution the system and benefiting to the end users. And for detail, reach out to my link to me through LinkedIn or my company profile, and I'm always there to discuss, answer, and support up to my best level.
So now we're going to move on to the final question. I do ask each guest on each episode this question to wrap things up. Whether you have asthma or not, every breath we take is a gift, a reminder of our resilience, our drive to keep going, and our power to define our own limits. With a single breath, you have the potential to move mountains and change the world. So with that in mind, Dr. Khan, I have one final question for you. If you had only one last breath, but with it the power to influence the world, what would your message be?
This is a tough question though. Yeah, but I love it because the answer is something which also helps what my motto is in this world. So I would say use your breath to speak for the humanity, create hope, and leave behind solutions, not just opinions. So leave behind solution is important. If do something which can be used even after your last breath. And because every breath carries potential, not just for survival but for change. So we take the breath, it's not for survival. I know it's for survival physiologically, but this is for every change. Every change for the positivity, every change for the welfare of humanity, every change to support who needs support. So this is all about, I want to say, create hope, speak for the humanity, and leave behind solutions, not just opinion, not just saying big words. Thank you.
Dr. Khan, thank you for joining us today and for sharing your story, your mission, and your vision for how AI can help reshape asthma care and respiratory medicine for the better. To our listeners, if you found today's episode insightful, please subscribe, share this episode with someone it might help, and leave us a review. You can find links to Dr. Khan's work, DigiBiomics, and additional resources on asthma and digital health in the show notes. Until next time, keep pushing forward, breathe deeply, and never let anything hold you back. Thank you for listening to Beyond the Wheeze. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share. Follow us on Instagram at Beyond the Wheeze and or follow me at the Asthma Runner for more updates. Keep breathing strong and remember, your potential has no limits. Until next time.